excited. I say that a lot, like I'm so excited, but I am. I'm just thrilled to have Caitlin Floor here. She is got such a, soup to nuts story about how she has advanced herself and leveled up and put herself out there, with the humble support of Palette, in the tailwinds here, just like cheering for you. I want to like talk about, the very first time that we met. It was during COVID. We were actually sitting outside of Palette, like, because no one wanted to be inside, and we might have had masks on. I can't remember exactly, but I would love to remember like how you came to us. Um, like, where did you hear about it?
I'm pretty sure it was social media. I think I saw something come across one of my feeds, and I was like, "What is this palette thing? Wow, it sounds really exciting! And who's that girl with the pink hair?"
I love it. Yeah, no, I have had pink hair since 2018, or like some form of pink hair through the years. So I just got pink again because I have like an exciting thing that's coming up, and I can't like spill the beans here. But and this isn't about me, it's about you. So you at the time had just been laid off from a previous job where you were doing marketing and social media and agency work. So tell us like about that process. I was just telling you about how there's another person that I follow and look up to who like was laid off, and it was like a situation like she would have never left the job had it not been decided for her, and it's led to like the most incredible things, and it became like almost like a roadmap to a pathway to like do the things that she was meant to do with herself. So tell us your journey and your story about it.
Yeah. So it was a similar situation for me. It was a scary time to have all these changes and then also like lose the comfort of having a stable job at the same time. But like I had been dreaming and wanting to start my own business for years before that. So it was not just like a new idea that came to me. I was like, I have wanted to do this for so long, but I was just too scared to like take the leap and like do it. So around that time, like even though we didn't really know what was happening or what would happen next with the world, I was like, well, I'm home a lot. I'm got a lot of time on my hands. Why don't I see what I could do with this and like what I could create? So I started and created. And one of the main things I did was like start networking because I was also kind of new to the capital region in this area. I had moved a year previously from Pennsylvania. So that was kind of like a little hurdle that I had to get through too, is like just like meeting new people and learning the businesses in the area and all of that. But that was really a fun process. Like everything, of course, was virtually during that time. So meeting people was pretty easy as long as you got up in the morning, took a shower, and hopped on your camera. Like you could chat with people and meet new people. So that was my first like big step into it, and then joining Palette was a key part of that as well. Mostly just because it was inspiring to be around a lot of other women who were thinking of starting a business or who had already started a business, and it was fun to just see people at like different stages and see how they were making it work and and what they were creating. So I was inspired by that, and that kind of helped pull me along and pull
Yeah,
me.
I feel like once you get started, I almost sometimes I forget like what it's like to first take that step into the direction of like entrepreneurship, or just something new in general is hard. So I love that's like one of my favorite things about Palette too, is that there are so many different levels of like advancing that people are working on or going through, all the same time. And so it kind of gives everyone perspective on what it's like to start out, and also what it's like to be at like the finish line, and that's a challenge too. I've I've experienced that where I'm like, I did the thing, so now what? You know, so
What's
it's
next?
yeah, exactly. So it's nice to be surrounded by people who are at different levels of their career and their lives. I mean, and we can learn so much from each other just by being in the room together. So that's been my most exciting part of it. And I think sometimes it's difficult to communicate what Palette really does for people, and like the methodology and like how people just naturally come together and connect really quickly. Like wouldn't you say that like when you meet people at Palette, you're just already, there's like momentum there, and there's like already like an energy or a relationship that you just can more easily build off of.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that I guess I have a good perspective because I've done a lot of other networking groups too. And not that Palette is just a networking group, but
Yeah.
it's different because you do events and things that also tie into like what people's hobbies are and like what they like to do, like the movie nights and painting and all that kind of stuff. So I think it gives like networking like more of like a human side, so that like you start talking about business and what you're doing, but it's like also with like, it makes it human. You talk
Yeah.
about your hobbies and something that you enjoy talking about. And then it's more organic that way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. So you were coming on like 2-year anniversary of you joining Palette, or you must be a member for a little over than 2 years. But more so, your business anniversary. Like, can you believe you've been doing this for 2 years now?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think that this like third year coming up is going to be full of like a lot of growth and a lot of changes. So I can't wait for that. I finally feel like confident that I'm like in this flow of business. I know what I'm doing. Things are working well with clients. They're seeing success. So I like what I'm doing. I can't wait to continue.
Yeah, I mean, it is so clear. I couldn't be more happy for you. And I went and looked at your website, which I hadn't seen in a while, and it's stunning. I mean, did you do that all yourself?
Um, Mostly, and then I had a couple people like look it over and give me like recommendations on what to do better. So
It's
yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think, there is like this trend where people are set where that I've seen is like, oh, you don't need a website. You can just operate off of social media. And, being in the social media world, I'm sure that there's like, yes, that's great and that's true, but it's really just an avenue in which people to get back to your website, and the social media content that's not, it's not owned by you. So it's really great to have like this step back to your own website, building your email list, and you also you help with all that too, right?
I mainly focus on social media, organic social media content and strategy. And I like to help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs with Instagram and LinkedIn specifically. So I just enjoy like focusing on those things. I think it's really hard to be, an expert of all of the social media and
Oh yeah.
also just like all of marketing. There's just so much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So you
so
don't do ad management.
I don't. Nope.
Okay, which I think is amazing. Like I mean, we hardly ever run any ads for Palette. For Paint and Sip we do a little bit, but that in itself is a whole nother ball
It
of wax.
really is. Yeah. And I would like to explore that maybe in my third year of business. But, right now, I haven't gotten there yet. So I'm
Yeah, and
focusing
if you
on
do
doing
it all in the first 2 years, there's nowhere else to go. So you gotta like,
yeah.
grow as you go. So you were like super heavily involved in the Links to Leadership um, fundraiser and event. Tell us more about that. And you did all the social media for that, right?
Yeah, I did. It was so much fun. So I joined the committee, the marketing committee. This was my second year doing helping out with it, and it was the second annual Links to Leadership tournament this year. And so I was like helping Marcella do the marketing. I kind of like took the lead on the social media stuff, but I really enjoyed, I love the mission of Links to Leadership. It's to encourage more like women in leadership and women to get out on the golf course and do business on the golf course, network on the golf course. So I was aligned with that and wanted to be a part of that. And I also really look up to a lot of the committee members and the leaders that are in that, that are on the committee of Links to Leadership. I think they are just really cool women leaders who are making things happen and who are also just genuinely kind and want other women to succeed too. So it was fun.
There are a lot of palette members involved, right? That's Georgia's involved, Terry Norrat, Kirsten, Marcella.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that, because I wanted to shout out their names. I wasn't like sure which ones are still doing palette, and so exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I loved like the first year that we did it. It was just like Marcella said, like, it's the most women that she's ever seen on the golf course at one time, and it's just so, you know, it is really transformative to be amongst that many women in like a man's, like, it's not even a man's sport. It's not a man's sport. It's just, you know, it's predominantly men do golf like all day. So tell us how can people get a hold of you, work with you? You know, I think like it's so, you know, this is one of those things, like I'm such an advocate for like figuring out what your best use of time is and then do only that. Social media is not that for me. So it's been so life-changing to have someone else manage it. So I'd like for you to kind of talk more about how stress-free this process is and how on point you can get with like the brand's voice and their brand, like everything. It's like you handle it all. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of working with someone like me who does social media versus like maybe a larger agency is that I like to do everything customized for my clients. I work very closely with them one-on-one. I love to get to know them, their personalities outside of like what their specialty is or what their business is, so that we can really incorporate not only what they do out on social media, but like the type of person they are and their personality, so that the goal is for them to attract clients to work with that they enjoy working with and that get the most out of their service. So I think, and building awareness of their business out in the digital space.
Yeah, I mean, the other part too is like I am just not the best person to talk about palette. Like I'm actually a lot more like when it comes to social media and stuff, like I cannot figure out, like I just feel like I've been in it for so long that it's hard for me to remember like what it's like to be first introduced to palette, you know.
Right.
Now I like meet people who have never heard of it. I'm like, how have you not heard of it? Like I've been doing this for 3 years. You know? And I have to remind myself, like even at Paint and Sip celebrated 10 years this year in business, and we still have people who have never been to the studio, who have never heard of what Paint and Sip is, and I'm like, have you been living under a rock? I am so obnoxious about sharing like what it is I'm working on or what it is we're doing, and all the awesome pieces of that experience, you know. So it just goes to show, like sometimes you are not the best person to be the mouthpiece or to be like doing that part of the business.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I think that that's one of the other benefits of like working with me or another social media manager, is that having like an outsider come in and say like, this is what you're really good at. Like, this is what really stands out. This is what makes you unique from like other business owners or other graphic designers. And you should really talk about this. Like, I can't even tell you how many times like those conversations come up, and then my clients are like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to put that out there. Like, okay, if you think so, and then it like gets a ton of views or shares or something, I'm like, yes, this is this is it.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, and it's just fun to like see the transformation too. Like, I love to see them having like getting business from just being themselves and putting that out there.
So, okay, so the other, piece of it too is like it is so stressful when Facebook changes life or Instagram changes the algorithm. I mean, LinkedIn hasn't changed much in, forever. Like honestly, LinkedIn is hot. That is like where you should be. That's why we're alive on LinkedIn right now. I think maybe not. I don't know if I see it up here anymore. But anyway, my point is that like there is a lot of stress and anxiety that I don't exhibit because I am not doing that part of the business anymore. We leave it to the experts. And so when there's an algorithm shift and when Facebook changes stuff or like it falls off the face of the earth altogether, I have someone else manage it. I don't feel the stress. It's the most amazing piece of this.
Yeah, that is, that's a great thing. I mean, just being able to focus on your business and what your specialty is again, and then like letting someone else take care of putting it out in the world and making it look pretty and telling your story about what you do and everything is, I think it's a huge help and stress reliever, like you said.
So tell people like, do you do like monthly contracts? Are you like a year-long, retainer? How does it that you operate just to like make it very easy for people to contact you and know that they can work with you?
Yeah, so most of I have like monthly packages, so it's kind of like on retainer, and they can sign up for, I mean, I would always recommend like a longer time so that we get to really dive in deep to like the content and everything. But I just have things offered on a month-to-month basis, and after we like chat about what you need, and I could make some recommendations, and then we can go from there.
Awesome. So very customized approach, very affordable approach. Like you are a one-woman show and you do it all, right? So you're not dealing with like a big marketing agency that's gonna like, it's not that, which is awesome. And from my personal experience doing this work, it takes time. It takes time to get like momentum and get eyes on your pages, and you just have to keep at it. You have to be consistent. Again, this is why you need someone doing this for you, because when I was doing it myself, I wasn't consistent. I would post, even on my personal page, it's like I'll post 3 times in a day, and then I like trail off and I'm gone for 2 weeks, so that doesn't work for business. You have to be on top of it. You have to be consistent. There has to be systems in place and routine. And this is why it is best to have somebody who knows what the hell they're doing come on and do it for you.
Yes, exactly. A lot of times my clients will say like accountability is a big thing for them. Like having somebody have the plan, have the outline for them and say, okay, can you make a short video for me for this? Can you get a picture this weekend when you're doing this and send it to me? So they're like, sure, that makes it easy. And then you take care of it, you make it look great, and you make sure it goes out when it's supposed to go out. So
by you mean you and not me.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today and telling people how, you've managed to make Palette a part of your network and your business. And, we say your network is your net worth. So you have to invest in it. You have to work it, and it can be fun and it can be transformative. I mean, the thought that it's been 2 years since you started and you put yourself out there and look at you now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And I can't wait to go to more events. I'm so excited and excited to see the new space.
I know. Oh my gosh. They're painting. I know it's difficult for me to not be there because when things are like really moving and happening, I want to be in there like every single day to like see what's going on. And but I'm probably, again, I am not the painter. I am not the floor layer person. So I'm in the way when I'm there. So the crew is probably thrilled that I'm like missing for 4 days.
Yeah, they're probably like, she's not filming it. Thank goodness. This is not going to be on social media.
They were dying because I was like, no, we're live. We're like, I can't talk to you right now about like what this little wall. We're like literally on the World Wide Web here. People are watching. So
Oh my gosh.
but I, like that's how we like get people to pay attention to what we're doing. We've got to share it. We got to tell people what we're working on.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to see the updates, at least from a palette member's perspective. I
Yes,
like
yes, because it's a space that you're going to be able. We're going to have a content lab in there, so there's going to be a space for you to, if you probably have all the tech and stuff, that you already need to do your business. But for people who don't have any of that stuff, they're going to be able to come and use it all inside Palette, and I'm so excited. I am really, really ready because the space is bigger. I'm trying to think the other day, I walked into Palette Saratoga, and it's like there's like 5 of us sitting at that parlor, like the salon table right outside the boardroom, and I'm like, this is ridiculous space. So I'm excited. There's gonna be tons of space to like spread out. We're gonna have like smaller phone. We're gonna have our phone booth back. We're gonna have like a mini. We're gonna recreate the library that we had downstairs, the cafe. We're gonna have smaller meeting rooms, so you don't have to like reserve the whole boardroom to hang out with one person or yourself. So I'm excited about that. And then we will still have the old Palette space. So lots of events are coming back online. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I don't know about you, but like fall feels like the beginning of the year for me. Like I don't have that momentum in January that I have like right now. Just because it's like the weather is changing and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I feel it too. I mean, I love to be outside in the summer and just do a lot of outdoor stuff. So I kind of tend to like calm down with like business growth and all of that. But then like as soon as fall happens, I'm like ready to like hop back in again. So
yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again for being here for it. And I will see you October 20th is the ribbon cutting. So you have to be there.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you want to get in touch with Caitlin, you can find her at kfsocialbrands.com, or you can see she's on our website at paletecommunity.com. Stay tuned for the next event. We'll see you soon. Bye.